Hi guys, just going on a short hike today. I wanted to share something with you all that I've never shared on my channel ever. It's something that used to occur and I've never talked about it. I wanted to say that this time when I build the teardrop camper that I want to build on the frame that I have, why it's going to be so different this time. Very different. I'm going to explain why. And this will be my 6th and most likely final build, but my 6th camper that I'll be making. Very hot out here. It's in the 90s. We're in a heat wave. Very, very hot. So I'm trying to hike before it gets too damn hot. I've been hearing the cicadas in the trees, like I always do this time of year. And every time I look at the trees in the forest line, I see just a handful of leaves that are just starting to change color, letting me know that fall is rapidly approaching. Fall is the worst time of year for me. Now, fall is bittersweet. Fall is a beautiful time of year, but it's very short-lived, and it's when I go through my greatest depression, because summer is my favorite season, and I always hate to see summer end. I always hate to see summer say goodbye by going out with a bang and a flash of color. I always hate to see summer go. The previous 5 campers that I built, during the progress of building it and after it was completed and totally built, my brother, who is no longer with us, would come to the house to inspect my progress. Now let me first say, because none of you know this, my brother, who was killed 8 months ago in a tragic automobile accident, was an absolute master carpenter, a master builder. I looked up to him greatly because he was so meticulous. My brother did not and never would take shortcuts. My brother did everything right, and he did it to the best of his ability, and the results was staggering, mind-blowing. My brother had many homes that he gutted to the stud walls and would completely rehab an entire house, top to bottom. Didn't matter if it was a 1-story, a 2-story, didn't matter if it was 900 square feet or 3,000 square feet. My brother could gut a house to the stud walls, completely rewire the entire home, replumb the home, and change the whole interior of the house to make it the way he wanted it. And when he got done, it looked like the house was done by a gang of licensed professional contractors. The best. My brother was an ace carpenter, an ace drywaller. When he did drywall, you could not tell where 2 pieces had been seamed together. It was absolutely flawless. And what you guys don't know, because of that when he knew I was building campers, my brother would drop in at the house to see how I was building my campers. And my brother would inspect them, because my brother would look to see if there was anywhere I was taking a shortcut, if there was anything not getting done right, if anything was off, if there was any advice he could give me. If he didn't like something, he would recommend, well, you know what, I would change this and do it this way. He was that good of a builder, and he was making sure that his little brother was building these things right. And I did, because he didn't find anything wrong with them. And the last camper, the very last one that I built, the ultralight, came and saw the progress, and when it was finished and I took it camping, and he inspected it at the campground, and he walked all around it, and he would run his fingers all along the top seam. He would look at the whole trailer. He would get down on his knees. He'd look underneath. He would open the door. He would go inside of it. He would look at all the walls. He would look at how the windows and the door was put in. He would inspect every single aspect of that camper. And my brother told me after he was sitting on the foldable couch that was inside that would make into a bed, and I had the door open and I was standing outside and looking in, and he looked at me and he says, Cav, he says, this is your best build yet. Your best one. He really loved that camper. He said, you're really improving. And he says, and you're building these things better and better every time. And that meant a lot to me. He never could find anything wrong with my builds. Because like him, I too love to build. We took after my grandfather, who was also a master carpenter and woodsman. And, but this time, when I built this teardrop, my brother won't be dropping in to inspect it. He'll never get to see it. Probably won't even know I'm building it. And it also bugs me that he won't get to see the property that Bridget and I are obtaining. Because every time there was a new property to look at, my brother, there again, would drop in and inspect the whole damn house from top to bottom. Even if he had to get out a ladder and get on the roof, he'd inspect that house top to bottom. If it had a fireplace, he'd inspect it. If it had a basement, he'd inspect it. He'd inspect the foundation, the wiring, the windows to see if anything's leaky, if anything needs to be replaced, if anything's dangerous, if anything could cause a fire. My brother was literally like a licensed state inspector because he knew carpentry in and out. And it bugs me that he won't get to see this new property, because he would do a thorough walkthrough of every structure on the property, and he would let Bridget and I know if there was anything that needed immediate attention, if anything needed to be drastically addressed and fixed right away, and if there was anything that was a serious problem, etc. My brother was very meticulous, lived very neat, very clean. You could eat off the sidewalk in front of his house. My brother took damn good care of what he had in his life. And his birthday's in October. He was killed last January. And I always suffer with depression in the fall. But being that my brother birthday is in the fall and he's now gone, it makes it even worse. Makes it even worse. And I really miss him. So I want you guys to understand something, that when I build this teardrop, it's not going to be like the other 5 times I built a camper. It's not going to be the same at all. Yes, I still remember how to do it. I know how to do it. Am I looking forward to it? No. For many reasons. One, because my hands hurt a hell of a lot more than they did back then. And because now that I'm on heart medication, I can no longer take anti-inflammatory drugs because it interferes with my heart medication. So I can't take any painkillers or nothing. That's one reason why I'm not looking forward to it. And the second reason is because my brother won't be there to inspect this one and to give his approval. And it's going to remind me of that, so it's going to be hard building it. It's going to be really hard building it. Same thing with the cabin in the woods, because I'm also building a 10 by 12 post cabin in the woods. And my brother always wanted to do that, and I wished he could have been around to see me do it, because I know he also would have been there hiking into the woods to see my progress and to see and make sure that I was building the cabin absolutely correct. Every board, every screw, every nail, every step of the way. So those 2 builds are going to be difficult to achieve. And Every time that I cut a piece of wood and I smell sawdust, I think of my brother Todd. Every time I pop open a bottle of glue and smell that carpenter glue, I think of my brother. Every time I hear a crosscut saw run cutting lumber, I think of my brother, because he was always building and always rehabbing homes. Always had music playing in the homes that he would gut, and I'd walk in and the place would just be completely gutted out, empty, the whole house gutted. And he'd be upstairs and I'd hear a power tool running, and there'd be extension cords and shop lights inside the house, and there'd always be the Bee Gees cranking, or Foreigner, or Journey, because he loved the 70s music like I do. And he was always listening to all the good classics and the great music. And I'd go upstairs and my brother would have a dust mask on and he'd be up there working, and he always had a cold beer in his hand. And turning a turd of a house into a diamond. And when it was done, it was absolutely beautiful. He did work that I could not match. I could not build the way my brother could. I could not drywall even close to how my brother could do it. I told my brother, I says, if you had a YouTube channel, Todd, I says, and you did videos showing people how to do this kind of work, how to rehab a home, how to wire a house for 110, how to put in plumbing, how to do bathrooms and fixtures and lights and everything that goes into a home, I says, you'd have over 1 million subscribers with the beautiful work that you do and everything that you could teach people out there. But he just was always, you know, wasn't his forte. So this fall is going to be the hardest fall of all, because it's going to be the first fall without my brother. And I miss him. I miss talking to him. And I wish he'd be around to see this house, the property, see me build this final 6th teardrop, and the post cabin in the woods. Whether he will be watching from above, I don't know. I hope so. But so that's why it's going to be hard, because my brother always was checking in to see my progress, to see how things were going, and I just never talked about it, mentioned it, or even got it on video in the past. But he was always making sure his little brother was doing things right, and he found that I was, and put a stamp of approval on it, and would always say, good job. He liked it, and that meant a lot. So building another teardrop is going to be more difficult than it's ever been. I will get it done. It's going to be next year, because fall is coming. We got to wait to obtain this property. We have a lot of work to do on the house, and there's just not going to be the time, and I don't want to build it over winter. It's going to wait till spring. But it will be coming, as well as the cabin build. But I wish my brother would have been around to get to know Bridget. He only met her once before he died, just briefly once, for like a half an hour. And then I never saw my brother again, because he was killed on his way going to dinner with his wife. And I greatly appreciate it if you guys don't ask me how his wife is doing, because I'm not going to say all the things that I could say. I'm just going to say that I never, ever liked his wife. Nobody in the family ever liked his wife. She is vile. I don't know how my brother stayed married to her. And the things that she has been doing since he passed away is completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. And it's pissing off everybody, including their own kids. So please don't ask me how she's doing, because she's doing fine. She's already got someone else, and she's moved on, and she can F off. I don't ever want to see her again, and I surely don't ever want to talk to her again. She did not deserve my brother at all. At all. And it's a shame that he's gone. It's a shame that he'll never get to be out in the boat with his son and daughter-in-law ever again on Chautauqua Lake. He really loved doing that, going out on his son's boat. His son's got a nice speedboat. So yeah, I will be struggling this fall for sure, and gonna continue to miss my brother because it's not even been a year yet. But this build is gonna be rough, and I'm gonna take my time with it. I'm not gonna build it in 14 days like I did the previous ones. I'm gonna stretch it out, make a lot more video content and a lot more instructional videos on how to build these things from the frame up, complete 100%, every single step of the way. Bridget's on the highway right now on her way back from Iowa after spending the holiday weekend with her family, which I was happy that she got to go and spend time with her family. I stayed behind to watch over the house and take care of the animals. I don't do well traveling down the highway that many hours on the road. It puts me in too much pain. So I just let her go and spend time with her family and enjoy that time with them. It'll really do her some good. I'm just really missing my brother today. And fortunately, my other brother went and rescued some of the things that I've given my deceased brother in the past, items that I gave him. And he went and quickly got some things because she was quickly throwing everything away without asking anybody in the family if they wanted anything of my brother's. Just throwing it in a damn dumpster. So I'm going to sit here for a bit and reflect, think about some things. I got a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of things to accomplish this fall. Much to do, much to think about. Those builds will be coming. The off-road teardrop and the 10x12 cabin. I'll bring you guys along on those journeys and building those projects and everything else there is to share along this new beginning that will be starting this fall and where it will all lead. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again in another one. Take care.